Lecture, Week 7, Mimicry in Propaganda and Cults. Unit 2, Mimicry as Simulacra Power Without Depth. Introduction. This week we explore the role of mimicry in the creation of political propaganda and cultic authority. Unlike charismatic authority that may arise organically, propaganda and cult dynamics often simulate legitimacy through repetition, emotional reinforcement, and illusion of depth. Using Robert Jay Lifton's analysis of thought reform and Hannah Arendt's exploration of totalitarian systems, we examine how systems of control use surface mimicry of truth, moral certainty, or communal identity to overwrite individual cognition and suppress dissent. What happens when the appearance of truth becomes more powerful than truth itself? In this space, mimicry no longer supports connection, it becomes a tool of manipulation. Key concepts: thought reform, Lifton, a systematic process of psychological manipulation designed to reshape belief and identity, often involving milieu control, sacred science, and loading the language. Totalitarianism, Arendt, a system where ideology and spectacle override personal autonomy, often using mass propaganda to manufacture consent. Simulated legitimacy, the use of repetition, emotional coherence, and symbolic gestures to fabricate credibility without critical grounding. Lecture content. Propaganda and cults operate by hijacking human tendencies toward emotional resonance and group identity. Lifton identified common techniques: controlling information flow, milieu control, creating absolute truths, sacred science, and using charged language to limit thought. Arendt, writing in the wake of fascism and Stalinism, showed how totalitarian systems bypass traditional institutions by creating alternate realities. These systems used mass communication not to inform, but to fabricate. Facts became subordinate to narratives that served power. Modern parallels can be seen in conspiracy movements, political echo chambers, and influencer-led spiritual cults. Each relies on the appearance of sincerity and the simulation of insight to hold followers, often using AI or social media algorithms to scale the effect. These structures often start as emotionally resonant communities, offering clarity and belonging, but their mimicry of moral, scientific, or spiritual authority often masks a hollow or abusive core. Socratic-style questions for class discussion. 1. How can you distinguish between authentic belief and programmed conviction? 2. In your experience, what rhetorical patterns or emotional tones seem most common in propaganda or cult-like messaging? 3. Can propaganda ever serve a neutral or positive function? 4. How do digital platforms amplify the simulation of community or ideological coherence? 5. If AI systems begin generating emotionally resonant yet untrue content, how do we define responsibility? Readings: Lifton, Robert J. Thought Reform and the Psychology of Totalism. Arendt, Hannah. The Origins of Totalitarianism, selected chapters. Assignment: Analysis Essay. Prompt: choose a contemporary or historical example of propaganda or cultic behavior. Analyze how mimicry, emotional appeal, and information control are used to simulate legitimacy and override critical engagement. Your essay should reference Lifton or Arendt to ground your framework. Discuss rhetorical or aesthetic strategies that produce emotional resonance. Evaluate the ethical, psychological, and societal implications. Length: 1,200 words. Due: Week 8. Closing thought. Mimicry is not inherently dangerous, but when used to simulate truth in service of power, it becomes a tool of domination. To study propaganda and cults is not just to understand history, it is to understand the vulnerabilities of the human mind in the media age. The lecture for Unit 2, Week 7, Mimicry in Propaganda and Cults, has completed. It includes theoretical framing from Lifton and Arendt, Socratic questions, and an assignment prompt for an analysis essay.